Hello, I'm going to do a video for you guys on scientific notation about form, what it is, how to get to it, how to undo it. So here we go. Scientific notation is a really cool form of writing a number that is really, really small or really, really big. So scientific notation is written in this form. Probably the most important thing here is that it's a number. Okay. I'm going to keep going along with the notes, so if you need to pause to write something down, please feel free just to pause and then come back to it. So our scientific notation is going to be written in this form. C right here is going to be a number between 1 and less than 10. Right? So it needs to be one digit. So it's one digit goes in that C place. And N is going to be an integer. So remember, integers are a whole number from the negatives to the positives. So it's going to be a whole number integer. Okay. So I'm going to show you standard form and scientific notation. So our first number is written in standard form. So that's the form that we normally see. So I'm going to show you how to write that in a scientific notation. So what you do is there is always an imaginary decimal right here. We are going to take our decimal and we are going to move it however many times it takes so that there is only one number in front of our new decimal place. So you see how there's now one number there, okay? The 7. So we're going to write 7.25. Those are the numbers we have written here. Scientific notation, we write it as times 10, and we're going to use an exponent, okay? The amount of times we moved it tells us how many, what our power for our exponent is going to be. So this n right here. So we moved our decimal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times to get there. So our exponent is going to be a 5. Okay, so 7.25 times 10 to the 5th. That's how you would say that. Okay. Because my number was a really big number, 725,000, we would have a positive exponent. All right, I'll write a note down somewhere for us later. All right, so now I have a decimal. I'm going to add my decimal point because you can't see it very well. And I want to change this into scientific notation. So same thing, I'm going to move my decimal now until I have one number in front of it. So I'm going to move it 1, 2, 3. So there's one number in front of it. That number in front of it is a 6. There's nothing behind it, so we just write a 6. And we're going to write times 10 to the, and we moved it 1, 2, 3 times. And because we had a really small number, we need to make that a -3. Okay? So, if we have a big number, we have a positive exponent. And if we have a small number, or I'll even write a decimal, we would have a negative exponent. Right? All right, so that's going from standard form to scientific notation. So we're going to have a couple problems on here that are going to ask us what we should do. So I have two standard forms, and our directions say to write in scientific notation. So we're going to do just the same as we did above. I'm going to put my decimal here at the end because there isn't one, and we're going to move it. So we're going to move it 1, 2, 3. Every number counts as one space. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's where our new decimal is going to go. So we moved that 8 times. I'm going to mark it there so I know in a minute. My number I have out front is 1.2. Our goal is to get rid of those zeros so I don't have to write them. Times 10, and I moved it 8 times. So that's my scientific notation. What do I have to do it this way? Well, I have a decimal, so I know I'm going to have a negative exponent. Let's see how many times we have to move this decimal. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to write a 4 there so I knew. So I have on this one 1.2, because that's the number I have there. There's a 1 if you couldn't see it. Times 10. We add a decimal, so we have to make it a negative, and we moved it 4 times. So that's how we go from a really big or really small number to scientific notation. On our next question, though, we're going to say, what if we have it in scientific notation and we want it to go back the other way? What are we going to do? Right? Okay, so we have a positive number here, so we know we want to make that really big. We're going to get a big number. A big number will mean we're moving our decimal to the right. Okay. So I'll write another note over here. So if I have a positive exponent, we are going to the right. Okay. If I have a positive exponent in this form, I'm going to move it to the right. So I'm going to move it to the right. 1, 7 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All of those spaces there, they need to have a 0 in them. I'm going to fill them all in with a 0. So now my new number is 3, 2, 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, sweet. Then you can put your commas in. So after every 3, we have a comma. So our new number is 32 million. Okay, what if we go the other way? We have a negative exponent. So if I have a negative exponent, I got to move to the left. Okay, so let's try that out. So I have 8.69, and it tells me I'm going to be going left because it's negative 5. So left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is my new decimal. And in every one of those spots, I need to put a 0. So my new number here is 0.1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, 8, 6, 9. Right. So I'll circle my answer for you. Those are my answers. That's how I find that answer. right? This can also be done, and mostly it just shows up on your calculator. So how in the world am I going to see this on my calculator? What in the world does it mean? So on my calculator here, I'm going to turn mine on. Okay, you might have to look. There's a button down here on mine that says times 10 to the x. So I'm going to put this number right here in there, 1.2, and I'm going to push that button. You see how it gave me a times 10, and then my x was an 8. Let's see if it'll work. Okay, it did for me. Let's see if it's the same number. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, those are the exact same numbers. And I put it into my calculator like this. Okay. Let's try another way. What if I put 1.2, the times button, 10, and then I made an exponent of 8. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We had 7 here, so it works the exact same. Okay, so if you have a button that is times 10 to the x, that'll work. Okay. Another way you could see it on a calculator is like this, 8.9 EE5. This EE is just telling you times 10. And this 5 is just my exponent. So this would be saying 8.9 times 10 to the 5th power. So you're going to have an assignment that asks you, what does EE mean and how do you make it into scientific notation? You just write it out. This is our number. The EE is this part. The 5 is our exponent. Okay, it's going to work the same way. Let's see. 1.2 EE negative 3. Okay, same thing. 1.2 times 10 to the negative 3. All right, feel free to watch this again if you need to. Your assignment is posted in Google Classroom. Have fun.